Good morning, everybody. I hope you I hope you got back to sleep after the early alarm. Some of us did, some of us didn't. We had surprisingly good attendance at 8:30. I don't know if everybody was just up already and might as well stay, but it's good to see everybody this morning. Thank you so much for being part of these classes along the way. We were able to record some of them, so if you missed a few, those should be on our YouTube page. And the very first one was a little problematic because we hadn't moved the camera, but they get better. So if you start seeing those, the later ones, we're learning as we go. Meg is with us today. Our topic today is just how to get involved in the life of worship, learning, and service at St. Thomas. But before Meg talks about that, I wanted to say just a few more words about confirmation and reception next Sunday when Bishop Wright is with us. He's coming to rededicate our remodeled space, but as part of that service, we'll also offer the rites of confirmation and reception. Confirmation is a mature public affirmation of your baptismal vows, especially for those who may have been baptized at a young age. It's an opportunity to say, as an adult, I'm claiming this faith for myself. I'm claiming this baptismal promises of the Episcopal Church for myself. And so it's a prayer offered by the bishop that prays for the Holy Spirit to work within you. But what it represents is that you're making a mature faith commitment. If you already made a mature faith commitment in another kind of church, if you were confirmed in another church, if you were baptized as an adult in another church, you may choose instead to be received. And that is just honoring your earlier faith commitment, but what we do is receive your mature public affirmation of your faith that you made somewhere else. And they really mean the same thing. They mean that you are on your own choosing to embrace the baptismal promises and commitments of the Episcopal Church and coming into the life of this communion. And we do that in the presence of our bishop just as a way to acknowledge that the Episcopal Church is more than just St. Thomas. It's this wider communion of churches throughout our diocese and throughout the wider community, and we're embracing this faith together. I think it's really a holy and wonderful thing that this is something that we all do in front of the bishop. The challenge is that we only have one bishop, and so he doesn't come that often, and they offer confirmation services at the cathedral. For us, that's in Atlanta, and so it's a bit of a hike to get up here. So it is sort of a special opportunity to be able to do this here at St. Thomas while he's here. So there's a form online to fill out if you want to be confirmed or received, but we also printed copies. So if anyone prefers paper, there are some copies here that you can fill out, and that will help us get certificates ready. We have a little gift for you, so it'll help us have all of that ready next Sunday for you as part of celebrating that day. So the bishop will be here for the forum at 9:30, so I encourage you to come and just be part of that. It's a conversation with Bishop Wright. Encourage you to come and be part of that at 9:30 here. The service is at 10:30. We'll reserve seats for those being confirmed or received in the front on the pulpit side. So you and your families can sit there to make that a little easier. During the service, it's kind of like baptism following the sermon. And Bishop Wright will be preaching next Sunday at the 10:30 service. Following the sermon, those being confirmed or received will come and go to the altar rail like you would for communion, and the bishop will offer that prayer. Your family or others can come and stand around you if you wish. That's lovely to do. Sometimes people invite some friends who become close to them, in the life of the congregation, to come and stand with them behind as the bishop is offering this prayer. And then after you receive the prayer, you return to your seats like you would after communion. Any other questions about next Sunday? I will say, eat a good breakfast next Sunday. The service has a lot going on, so don't expect to get out at 11:45 next Sunday. It may be just a little bit over that, but we do have a brunch offered after the service, so I hope you'll just come and make a day of it. Come at 9:30 for the bishop's forum, stay for the service, and then a time of fellowship afterwards here over a brunch meal. Any other questions? So these forms are here. Let me introduce Meg. Meg is our Director of Parish and Community Engagement. So she leads the ways that we participate in life of ministry within St. Thomas, and also the things that we do as a congregation out in the community. She's going to walk us through this form that we put together every fall. Later in the year, we invite people to make pledges of monetary offerings for the coming year to help us plan our budgets and the financial part of our ministries. Earlier, before we do that, we have this offering of our ministries, offering of our time and talent and gifts to serve within the congregation. And so we do that, we do that through a form. But it's just because there's so many things happening, there's not a way to just have a sign-up sheet around the parish hall for everything. And we want people to be able to think thoughtfully about this too. So there will be a new form that's put together every fall, and you have some time at home to think and pray about the ways that you want to participate. And we've got some folks here from some different ministries that are listed here, and they can share a little bit about those ministries when we get to that. But Meg, we'll listen to you.
All right, so this form is still on our website, so if you would like to fill it out after we look at it, you're welcome to do that today, but we're just going to walk through it. So we just ask for your contact information. In this box, we send out emails a lot, don't we? Yes, we do. We have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday newsletter type email that comes through MailChimp. So on Mondays, it's news and events. We call Wednesdays the Wednesday Word. It's usually a message from Reverend Grace or someone else. And then on Fridays, an email about what's happening this coming Sunday or this weekend. We also send something on Fridays called Celebrations and Sorrows, and that's just sent through our Gmail account. And that goes to fewer people. That really just goes to the people who are connected to the parish. So if you're not getting either one of those, let me know, and I can make sure that your email, the right email address, gets on the right list. It's also the email that we use if there are funeral notices that we send for people within the parish. That's the same list there. So the first the things we have are divided into the categories of our life together at St. Thomas, and so the first one has to do with worship. So the Altar Guild. Is anyone here from the Altar Guild? Didn't think. Okay. So the Altar Guild is the group that sets the altar for worship. Right now there are 4 teams that work together on a rotating schedule, and they are able to, each of the teams works on different days of the week or even the weekends. So the times to help with that are flexible. The St. Thomas Choir, you all probably get that one. If you're interested in joining the choir, there's room for lots of folks. Musicians, if you play an instrument for worship, if you would like to offer that at some point. We also have the Flower Guild members. The Flower Guild works together to arrange flowers or arrange for flowers to be as a part of our worship each Sunday and special events. Lay Eucharistic ministers, or LEMs, are the folks who serve at the altar. So we have folks who serve at 8:30 and 10:30 on Sundays, and also on Wednesday afternoons at 5:30. So there's a training for that's provided, but you're invited to learn more or participate in that. Lectors are people who read during services. Ushers. Skip is in the back. He raised his hand. Skip is an usher. Ushers are people who help welcome folks to church, pass out bulletins. We need ushers at both Sunday morning services and also at special events. Dan Ginter coordinates the ushers. The rest of these positions are coordinated through a software called Ministry Scheduler Pro. And with that, you can set your own schedule. You can tell the computer system when you are not available to serve, and then it will schedule you on the days that you would like to. You can tell it how frequently you would like to serve. You can tell it that you want to serve with your family members or you don't want to serve with your family members. You can tell it all kinds of things. It also helps us find substitutes at the last minute, because if someone is scheduled to serve and then something happens and they're unable to be here, they just click a box in this app, and then it sends a message to everybody else who might be able to serve, and that's helped us tremendously. So vergers are people who wear the black robes and help prepare for worship by making sure that the other leaders for worship are organized and ready, and they lead the procession at the 10:30 service. Acolytes are the children and youth who participate in worship. So we have opportunities for children in kindergarten through high school to serve that way. If you have a child that wants to acolyte, we're working on having a training soon. And then restocking pew cards. This is a underrated opportunity. It doesn't even have a picture. It's so underrated. But we have people who take a month at a time to restock the pew cards and the pencils in the nave and the chapel to make sure that they have the things that they need. So that's also something that can happen at a flexible time. You just have to come before the Sunday, anytime during the week. All right, so this section has to do with teaching and learning. Okay. Okay. Yes. Any questions about ways or opportunities to help with worship? Okay. Teaching and learning. Sunday adult formation. So we offer people a chance to tell us here if you would like to help lead or facilitate adult learning opportunities. On Thursdays from 10 to 11, we have a lectionary Bible study for women that Cindy Gerard facilitates. They are looking at the lectionary readings for the coming Sunday. So if you would like to feel super prepared and ahead of the game, that is a good opportunity for you. Cindy sends a handout prior to the meeting each week, and that group meets in person or on Zoom. Welcome classes. You've already done that. Check. So we offer the welcome classes at different times during the program year. Chattahoochee Valley Episcopal Ministry. Anybody here connected with CVEM? Would you like to say anything about that?
A member of our congregation, Melinda Schomburger, is the director at CVEM. We do, one of our great projects is each summer the TAP program, the Thompson Pound Children's Program at the, at the library, I think. So, oh, that's right, Rankin Center. And so, and then we help individuals with problems like rent and other things. So Chattahoochee Valley is a very good ministry in this area, and we actually are short of board members. If somebody would wish to volunteer for the board, that would be very helpful.
And this one is included in the learning section because CVEM has offered monthly conversations related to issues around justice. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can contact Melinda or look at their website for more information about that. Journey groups. Who is anyone involved in a journey group? Hopefully I see hands. Okay, great. Journey groups are what St. Thomas does as sort of like small groups. So we have a journey group that starts in the fall, and then one that starts again in January. This is information about what we did in the fall. But this spring we are looking at Strength for the Journey. We're 2 weeks in, so it's not too late to join a group. We have groups that meet from 6:30 to 7:30 on Wednesday nights, a Sunday afternoon at 4 group, and that group also offers a Zoom option. And then there's a Tuesday daytime group at 1:30 for folks who want a daytime option. So any questions about any of those opportunities? Yes, ma'am. No, please.
The one that's called adult formation, is that what the Baptist call Sunday school?
Yes. Yes, adult formation. We use the word formation a lot, but yes, if it happens on Sundays, it's like Sunday school. If it happens on Wednesdays, it's like Wednesday night church or whatever you called it. So like this, while you all have been having a welcome class here, the adult formation group has been looking at Theo Ed talks. They're kind of like TED Talks. So they've been listening to that and having a conversation about that. So what we do in adult formation on Sunday morning kind of rotates with the theme, with the church year. Right now there's one. Yes, there's this and that. But there will be, we're outgrowing the library, and we have people who want to talk about and learn about different things. And so we anticipate there being 2 options even after the welcome class is gone. Yes. 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 Norm wants me to make sure I say that you can join a journey group at any time. And even though we're studying a book, you don't have to read ahead. Homework is not required. Or it is an option if you're really into homework. That's good too. This section has to do with teaching and learning, what we do with our children. So Episcopal kids is what we call our children here. Ms. Shayla is looking for people who would want to be on an Episcopal Kids committee. If you have insight or ideas about children's ministry. We are also looking for volunteers to help with these things. Children's Chapel on the right is what happens during the 10:30 service on Sunday mornings. So children leave, I'm sure you've noticed, they leave before the gospel, and then they come back after the prayers or during the peace. So the volunteers for that volunteers for all of these things work on a rotation, and you don't have to come up with anything. We use curriculum, we have things that are provided if you're interested in helping with children in that way. Shine Time is what we call Sunday school for kids.
Would you mention about parlor time in Children's Chapel?
Yes, so this is a new thing that we are starting soon. Right now, the children go to the chapel for Children's Chapel. Because we have so many children and their ages are so varied, we are looking at starting something called parlor time for older children. So the youngest children would continue to go to the chapel for Children's Chapel, and then those kids who are like almost tweens, like third-ish, fourth, fifth grade, if they are not yet ready or wanting to sit through the service, they would be invited to the parlor for parlor time for a conversation on their level. What the children do during Children's Chapel is exactly what the adults are doing in the nave. So they hear the gospel, they sing a song, they hear the gospel, they have a liturgy that they follow with prayers. It's just for children. So the idea is that would happen on two different levels for two different groups of kids on Sunday mornings. So we're looking for volunteers who would like to help with parlor time. Doesn't it sound fancy? Wednesday activities for children happen between 6:30 and 7:30. Volunteers are needed for that. Rockers and rollers on Sunday morning. We have somebody assigned each Sunday morning to check in with the nursery and see if they need assistance. That may be just holding a baby while they take care of another baby, rocking a baby, playing.
That's the one that I want to volunteer.
We have some pretty cool babies and fun babies right now, so that's a good opportunity. And again, those volunteers are on rotation. If you have kids or grandkids or children that are around and you want to be added to the special communications about children's ministry at St. Thomas, you can let me or Miss Shayla know that as well. So this is the teenagers and the youth. We call them St. Tommies. They named themselves the St. Tommies. So they have opportunities on Sunday morning for tweens, Wednesday nights, the same thing, looking for opportunities for volunteers to work. They had a youth confirmation class in the fall, so that is a little bit older. Our youth are very connected with the Diocese of Atlanta with the events that they offer at Camp Michael, which is in Toccoa, our diocesan camp. They have spring and fall retreats based on age, and also summer camp and winter camp opportunities. So Taylor Mack is often looking for volunteers to provide transportation to Toccoa because it's no short little jaunt. So if you're interested in that, that is an opportunity to help. Also with youth special events, and again, if you have a teenager and are not connected to Taylor and her emails, let us know that too. Yes.
Like, say here, it's not in this form, but they'll probably be recruiting for Vacation Bible School.
Yes, that's great. Margot reminded me about VBS. The VBS dates will be in our next newsletter that comes out before Ash Wednesday. So we will be looking for volunteers to help with VBS.
Can I say just a word about youth? In the Episcopal Church, this is just true in almost every diocese. Diocesan youth ministry is really important for kids. So what happens at the church is important, but just being part of those diocesan events, there's a lot of very important deep formation that happens there. They're connecting with youth from other Episcopal churches, and so, getting to know people from different congregations. And I think that's where young people start figuring out how to be Christian away from home, part of a wider community than just their congregation. So I just really, if you have teenagers, try to get them to Camp Michael, at least once or twice a year if you can, because that's something that I think sinks into them in a really powerful way. And Taylor's great. I mean, we are the farthest away from Camp Michael, and we often bring the most kids. So we are committed to that. So.
This section has to do with young adults. So if you have a young adult, which for this purpose is like 21 to 40-ish, there are monthly young adult activities that Taylor also plans and coordinates that you're welcome to connect with or connect other people with. It's kind of an easy entrance into St. Thomas and what the other options and opportunities that we have here. ECM, this semester has started a partnership with the Abbey, which is a space and a group that's downtown. And so their Tuesday night meals are at the Abbey. So there's also an opportunity here. It says to prepare or provide meals for the campus ministry group. This is like 15, 20 kids, not a huge crowd. So if that's something that you're interested in, connecting with college students that way. All right, any questions about teaching and learning at St. Thomas?
I'll just say a word about Episcopal campus ministry. There are several campus ministries at different campuses around the diocese, and most are like partnering with a congregation nearby. So we, just a year and a half or 2 years ago, we started the Episcopal campus ministry at CSU, but it's supported by the diocese, and it's a diocesan ministry that Taylor leads. She's the chaplain, the Episcopal campus minister, to our missioner to CSU, and also part of our staff here. So, yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah.
On the Abbey board for about 12 years.
It's a great space.
And we're excited. I'm really excited because I'm kind of like from both sides.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
When I told the board that I was leaving the Presbyterian Church, and as a board, we have done a lot of stuff with like First Baptist Church and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good that all of the kids, nobody has to sign anything or wear a badge when they
Exactly.
come to saying,
Yeah.
What denomination you are.
Mhm.
Just that kind of space.
Michelle was saying she's on, for the online folks, Michelle was saying she's on the board of the Abbey, and it's offered by the Presbyterians, but really open to everyone. And this is a new partnership. The Episcopal campus ministry has just located there beginning in January, but it's a beautiful space, and we hope that will be a really fruitful way for Episcopalians and Presbyterians, but everybody to work together.
Thank you. All right, this section has to do with opportunities to serve that are connected with St. Thomas. So, Creation Keepers. Brian, would you say something about Creation Keepers?
Creation Keepers is about taking care of God's creation, and we focus on helping individuals learn about ways to take care of creation, but also periodically bring information to the church. And a big project we have going on this spring is to start a pollinator garden with native plants. And we're looking at, we often organize conferences that are sometimes hosted here. We work closely at the state level with Georgia Interfaith Power and Light, and within the city we work with Clean Energy Columbus quite a bit. So it's sort of from the individual to the church to the regional level, just trying to promote taking care of God's creation.
Thank you. The next thing listed is Path to Shine. Path to Shine, any Path to Shine volunteers? Path to Shine is an opportunity to tutor or mentor elementary students. They meet on Tuesday afternoons. Path to Shine is a diocesan program that gives a curriculum to the folks here. So that is it's easy to jump into. They do a lot of like reading books together, talking about character development, and also helping with schoolwork.
No, I mean, I've been a mentor for many years, but it's, very rewarding.
Okay. So Path to Shine, when they meet, they need snacks. So if you're interested in providing snacks, they do like a sandwich half and fruit and juice each week when they're together. There's also some children who've grown up through Path to Shine, which serves elementary students now they're in middle school. And so if anyone has a special calling to work with middle schoolers, bless you. And we have an opportunity for you to work with some great middle schoolers. I mean, they're still hanging around, which means they want what is being offered there. So I think that's important. So Path to Shine falls under East Carver Heights ministries in our community. One of the other ministries that they have is Boxwood Soccer. So in the fall and the spring, they field like 5 or 6 soccer teams from U8 all the way to high schoolers now. So if you're interested in helping with soccer, they need bottled water. If you have kids or your grandkids are playing CYSA soccer and you're at the field, then it's helpful. You can look at their game schedule and show up and cheer on the team. That's helpful as well. Getting to know the families of the kids who are playing is an opportunity.
And I'll just add, they win a lot. They're really pretty amazing teams. So it's been exciting to see the teams grow. And some of the kids have been playing for like 10 years now. Started very young and are still playing and getting ready to graduate and doing well. So that's been very rewarding.
Yeah, it's a great story as well. If you meet or get to meet Greg or Lisa Herring and talk to them, they love to talk about soccer. So they would love to tell you about how that ministry started in East Carver Heights. The next thing has to do with Brewer Elementary. Margot, would you talk about that?
Yeah. We have Reading Buddies. Our Reading Budding program is 8 or 9 years old now, and Meg has organized it the last couple of years, got people going on a regular thing. I've stepped back in again, and I'm helping to train the volunteers. We're working with kindergartners this year. We have some retired teachers, but we have people who've never worked with kids at all, and we're willing to teach. It's very rewarding. We meet for, you go and you meet for half an hour with one kid and then half an hour with another kid from 9 to 10 on Tuesdays this past year. So it's a really rewarding chance to make a real big difference in the life of a kid. Brewer is working with the lowest children in our district, so that's very rewarding. Something that didn't make the list this year, I was traveling and Brewer was transitioning, so it just somehow fell through the cracks, is our Brewer Buddy program, where we once a month we deliver a month's worth of meals, but we send about 80 meals home every week in the backpacks of kids who live in food insecure households. But we pick up about 320, 400 meals from Feeding the Valley and deliver them to the school, and then they parcel them out 80 a week. And that happens the first Tuesday of the month. We have one group of folks that meet us about 9 o'clock at Feeding the Valley and help us load our vehicles, and then we drive to the school and unload the vehicles, and then we have another group of people who help us unload the boxes into their plastic storage bins for the month. So that is a really easy way to make a big difference, because it's once a month for maybe an hour or so, and we're always looking for volunteers to help with that or to be a reading buddy.
There's also an opportunity to help sponsor or pay for those buddy packs, if that is of interest to you as well. I should say before Libba is going to share with you about Winton Neighborhood Network.
I came today particularly to ask Sue about volunteers. Winton Neighborhood Network is a really big operation, And we're there Monday through Friday, every Monday through Friday, unless it's a national holiday or something like that. I think people don't realize how big an operation it is. It's over here. It's housed right over here. You can't get in there, but we lock everything up back there. But it's housed here. It involves 7 different churches and the temple and a synagogue, and all of those people volunteer to help us. I think the problem is that says 10. That's try 9. Or even 8:30 in the morning till about 11, maybe, something like that. And so it's in the morning. And so I know probably most of you are still working or, that kind of thing. But we really need volunteers. It takes at least 7 people every morning to get the food out. As I said, it's a big operation. We do 25 families a day. And we have to package everything up and get it ready to go out. And then we have to repackage and get everything ready for the next day. So it's a big operation. And we would really love to have more volunteers. You can volunteer once a month and also we do one Saturday a month. And a lot of you maybe could volunteer for that on a Saturday. We do a special Thanksgiving and Christmas. The only requirement, and this is pretty unique for us, is you only have to have an ID, a picture ID, and you have to live in Muskogee County. That's a requirement from USDA, not from us. But you don't have to have a referral or anything. Most of our food comes from Feeding the Valley. The rest of it comes twice a year. There'll be a card out and we ask for contributions. You can contribute anytime, either money or canned goods, but we use lots and lots of canned goods. Feeding the Valley gives us lots of food too. We pay for a lot of food, but it's really an incredible thing. We also help people pay their electric bill and their gas bill. So you can see it's really a much bigger operation, I think, than most people realize, and we just need more volunteers. And we can always use money and any kind of contribution of like canned goods when you see a big sale or something like that. We're not giving anybody any eggs right now, by the way. But we are giving everybody like a loaf of bread and a box of butter, but it's not butter. And we give everybody that. You'd just be amazed what we give people. And it's a great operation, and you meet everybody from all these other churches, and that's fun too. So please, 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 any help.
So if they're looking for planners to help plan TAP's special birthday celebration this summer. We connected earlier with Sleep in Heavenly Peace. That's their logo, building beds in the fall. Okay, any questions about opportunities to serve in the community? Okay, these opportunities have to do with serving at St. Thomas. So confirmation mentors were needed in the fall and will be needed again. If you're interested in helping with Wednesday dinners in the kitchen, setting things out on the buffet, getting things ready, that's an opportunity. There's a work group that has a work day most every first Saturday of the month. They do things around our campus that can be as hard or as strenuous as you desire. Yes. Yeah, most of them are not. And then also if you're interested in helping maintain the labyrinth, that is an opportunity. These next options have to do with connecting through prayer. So there's a prayer group that meets on Mondays at 11, people who sign up and who want to pray for the needs on our prayer list at home. So you can indicate that there as well. Opportunities to connect through welcome and pastoral care. LEVs, lay Eucharistic visitors, are people who take communion to those who are sick or at home. There's training for this, but it's a great way to connect with people who cannot join us for worship for whatever reason. We also have some pastoral care opportunities with sending meals to people who are recovering from illness, seasonal gifts for homebound members, opportunities to just make a new friend with conversation. It's a great picture with Roxanne and Bill Pauley playing Scrabble. And Bill died recently, and he beat Roxanne every time they played. So making phone calls, sending letters, those are, again, if you have kids in your life, those are good opportunities to engage them in ministry too, and in a way that you can choose what works best for you. This is connecting through writing and media. Usually for Lent and Advent, we have opportunities for St. Thomas folks to write short messages or devotions that have to do with the season. If you're really good at and you love taking pictures, we would love to know that and get the pictures that you can take at church events. That's really helpful. We have some people who've been working on an archive of older pictures and things around. Connecting through parish life. So we have a St. Thomas men's group. I don't know, some of y'all back there, Ray is nodding. So the men's group is coordinated by Paul Hostetter and usually gathers once a month, once every other month for social opportunities in our community. They also help us with things like parking, grilling hot dogs for trunk or treat. They grilled hot dogs in the park also last year. Women's group is a group that meets for dinner around town once a month. Susan Seeley and Ellen Free coordinate that group. The lunch bunch is for women who are interested in a lunchtime meeting. They meet the second Tuesday of every month at Parker's Pantry for lunch together. We are always looking for volunteers to help with parish life or special events. And I'll go ahead and talk about excursions. These are like cultural and educational opportunities that we get together and do out in the community. So we have one coming in March, so be on the lookout for that. And then I'm going to let Barbara talk about foyers.
4 years is all about fun and fellowship. It's our dinner groups that we form every September, and they go through May. And you split up into small dinner groups. Well, they weren't too small this year. We're going to try to get them smaller next year to accommodate homes. But we had 90 folks sign up this past year, and we had 6 dinner groups that are still meeting. If you don't feel comfortable hosting in your home or apartment, you don't have to host. We either meet in someone's home or we meet for a dinner at a restaurant. Our group's going to Michi Cafe next Saturday. Sign up is in August, and you can sign up 2 ways, which through the ministry sign up form or there'll be a link in the spiritual adventures, and you can sign up that way. But this is a great way, especially if you're a newer member, to connect with St. Thomas members and get to know them, get better acquainted with them. Okay.
All right, that was the last one. So any questions about serving in those ways connected to St. Thomas? Any questions about, I was going to say who to contact, but that's not, like how to connect or who to connect with for things? You can ask us specifics in emails, but I'm in the office, and so I can usually help point you in the right direction if there's somebody specific or some specific ministry that you would like to connect with. So what happens after you click submit is that you would hear from the leaders of those ministries, yes. So again, this is from last fall, but it would still work. It would still connect you with those ministry leaders now, and we'll have another one that will be out in August.
This is our last welcome class for this season, so are there any questions about anything that we might have missed along the way? Yes, ma'am.
It's just a little question about worship service, and that is, why is it that the children think right before the gospel
Courtney's asking why children leave before the gospel lesson. I mean, different churches do things in different ways. The congregation I served previously, the Sunday school started at a time and just continued all the way through the service, and the children weren't part of any of it at all until communion. Our practice at St. Thomas has been to involve children in worship as much as possible, but we also recognize that the sermon's a little long, and so, excuse me, it's not. But for children, 12 minutes, might feel like a little bit. And so our custom has been just to give children opportunity to engage with the gospel, more on their level. And so they leave before the gospel lesson, during that sequence hymn, just because that's sort of a natural time to leave. And then they do their own prayers and come back in at the piece, having done their own experience. Now, quite honestly, as Children's Chapel is supposed to be for younger children. So if children start getting kind of bored with Children's Chapel, it's really fine for them to stay in the service the whole time. In fact, it's fine for children of any age to stay in the service for the whole time. But we just recognize that some children, will learn more by engaging on their own level. Some parents will learn and experience more by not having their children with them, by letting them engage on their own level. So, so we just offer that as a way to try to meet all of those needs. And ideally, by the time they're tweens and doing the tween Sunday school class, ideally by that time they're staying in worship the whole time. We just want to help prepare them to do that. Any other questions about anything that we've talked about along the way? Well, again, if you're planning to share in confirmation or reception next Sunday when Bishop Wright's here, here's a paper form if that's easier for you. There's an online version as well that we've emailed out a couple of times, but if you need that, contact us and let us know. Next Sunday is going to be a really special Sunday in the history of St. Thomas, and so I hope you'll be here and be part of all of that from the Bishop's Forum at 9:30 on through lunch afterwards. We're so grateful that all of you are getting involved in the life of St. Thomas. If you have joined already, welcome. If you want more time to think about it, that's okay as well. We're grateful that you're here. St. Thomas is enriched by the gifts and the spirit and the faith that people are constantly bringing into. It's just very fertile ground. The more folks who join, the more everybody grows. And so just so grateful that all of you are here. And I say this a lot, but I really mean it. It's really a privilege to serve a church that such thoughtful people like all of you want to be a part of. And I think the whole congregation feels that way. So thank you all for being part of this. Thank you to all the folks who represent all the ministries that were talked about today. You all make all of this happen. And it's a good thing when the body of Christ works together. If there aren't any more questions, let's go worship. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Yes, sir.